Hey guys, Jaron here from CreditOnSteroids.com, and this is lesson number 1 to True Secrets to Great Credit. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is lesson number 1 to a series I'm doing called True Secrets to Great Credit. And what you're looking at here is what I call my credit repair cheat sheet. And the reason I call it that is because when I first started embarking on the process of repairing my credit, I had no idea where to start. And I'm sure that's where a lot of you are right now. You're probably searching all over trying to find out what are the keys, what are the strategies to improve my credit. And the funny thing about credit repair tips and techniques is you're always going to have somebody telling you something different, but wouldn't it be great if you could get all that information in one place? So when I began this journey, I actually came across this guide that really covered every area of credit repair and even opened my eyes to things that I didn't even know existed. So much so that I knocked off a ton of items from my credit report. I don't know how bad your credit is, but I can almost guarantee you there were very few people who had a credit report as messed up as mine. I had dozens and dozens of negative items on there, and I always like to say my credit was so bad that they wouldn't even take my cash when I go into a place. That's how horrible it was. So this guide completely covered everything and helped me clean it up. And I just wanted to share with you some of the gems of what I got out of here. And so one of the things that I wanted us to begin to look at here is a study that was done that shows that over 70% of credit reports contain serious errors. Now think about that statement for a second. Over 70% of all credit reports have serious errors on them. Now, why is that important? Because if your credit report has error on it, then it can be disputed. And if it can be disputed, then it can be removed from your credit report. And once it's removed from your credit report, your credit score actually goes up. So if 70% of reports contain serious errors, ask yourself this question: what are the odds that your credit report, no matter how bad it is, has some errors on it that shouldn't be there, that can actually be removed from your report so that your score can go up? Now, the misconception that a lot of people fall into when it comes to cleaning up their credit report is they automatically think that as long as I deal with the collection agency items that are on my report where I haven't paid a bill or whatever, then that'll bring my score up. And there's truth to that. I'm not knocking that. I'm just simply wanting to open our eyes up to the fact that your credit report is so vast and there are so many components to it that go way beyond just what you haven't paid to a collection agency. And those categories can actually have errors on them that can keep your score from going up. But because you don't even know that those sections exist, how are you going to dispute something that you don't even know exists? So I wanted to kind of go over that first. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up a section here that talks about that. As you guys all know, there are actually 3 reporting agencies that present credit information on your credit report. And we know them. They're the big 3. We have Experian, Equifax, and Transunion. The first one that this actually covers is Equifax. And the reason they do that is because your Equifax report is actually the longest report out of the 3, and it contains the most sections on it. So what I mean by that, a lot of people don't understand that some of the categories that are on your Equifax report are not on your Experian report. Some of the categories that are on your Experian report are not on your Transunion report. So you can try to dispute a negative item on your Equifax report, get it removed, and then wonder why your score still hasn't gone up. And it's because there's something on the other 2 reports that are holding you down that you didn't know existed, because guess what? It didn't show up on your Equifax report. So there are a lot of components to this that I really want us to kind of look at. But these are some of the categories that actually affect your credit report that are on your Equifax report here. The first one is personal identification information. Now, this section shows your basic information, previous addresses, and employment history. It also contains any alerts that have been added to your file about identity theft, and an alert if you're on active duty in the military. Now, this is very important because this particular section includes a written statement you have provided if any, explaining your situation. So what that means is that if you ever owed money to a creditor, even if it was someone who wasn't a collection agency, just someone who you were trying to pay off, right? A debt that you owed to a company, and you wrote them a letter saying, hey, can I please make an arrangement or whatever like that, because right now I'm in a bad financial state. I can't pay all my bills or whatever. They can actually submit that written statement to your credit report, and it show up under your personal identification information. And when it shows up there, it can make your credit score go down. Now think about that. That has zero to do with a collection agency and everything to do with the fact that somebody decided to place something under this particular section of your credit report and have a negative effect on your score. Let me just go through some of these really quickly so you can see how vast the categories are here. Your credit account information. This section is a summary of all your creditor information. Your mortgage accounts. This section lists mortgages in your name, including home and equity loans, and shows the balance, status, and credit limit amounts. I don't know if you knew this, but if you have a mortgage that you're paying off, if they report something inaccurate to the credit bureau, and it can be beyond whether you have paid something or haven't paid something. It can just be them reporting the interest rate wrong. Anything like that that's off can have an effect on your credit score. It has nothing to do with collections. Let's keep looking at some of these. Your installment accounts. This section lists installments on loans, such as car loans, offer balances, date status, and credit limits. The same thing can happen with a car loan. I had a situation with my car loan where I had paid my bill, everything was paid on time, and then one day I called in to make my next payment, and they say, oh, I'm showing on the account that you still owe such and such past due balance. And I said, no, I paid that. I gave them the confirmation number. When he pulled it up via the confirmation number, he confirmed, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I do see here that you actually paid this off. Now, what if they had reported that as being non-paid? It's not a collection agency, but if he had have reported it that way, that would have had a negative effect on my score. Let's keep going and look at some other ones. Other accounts. These are accounts that don't fall under any of the previous descriptions that we just talked about. Your open accounts. This shows accounts that are currently open and active. Closed accounts. These are accounts that you have closed or were closed for you that you don't use anymore. Accounts in good standing. This information is repetitive and shows accounts listed elsewhere that are currently not overdue. Accounts currently past due. These are accounts that you have missed payments on. Negative account history. These are accounts with ongoing payment problems or negative aspects. So again, this would be if you had a payment that you constantly pay late or something like that, that can be reported. But again, as we said before, sometimes those are reported inaccurately. Inquiries within the last 12 months. These are inquiries made by companies you gave permission to in order to check your credit, such as when you applied for a loan. Now, sometimes you can walk into an apartment complex to maybe look at getting an apartment, and I've had this happen to where you renege at the last moment and you say, you know what, I'm just not interested, I don't like the rates or whatever, but maybe you filled out an application or whatever. Sometimes that company can actually go ahead and try to pull your credit, and that will have a negative effect on your credit report when you didn't even want to get an apartment there. So that is another example of how this can happen. We have inquiries within the last 12 months. These are inquiries made by companies you gave permission to in order to check your credit, such as when you applied for loan, account information summary. This lists all the accounts described on previous pages all together in one place. You have inquiries. These are companies that requested information about you, and it separates inquiries that affect your credit rating from those that don't. So this is just your Equifax report. Okay, and it goes on. There's a lot to this. This guide actually shows you a picture of what this all looks like, but let's just continue to look at some more. Collection agency information. This is the one most of us are familiar with, but these are accounts that are currently being handled by the collection agencies, and this offers a very detailed look at the account and provides contact information for the bill collector. Then you have public record information. This section shows bankruptcies, judgments, and liens against you. Detailed information about each listing is provided. Sometimes that can be off and not be accurate and can cause your credit score to go down. Dispute file information. This describes the steps to to take to dispute information in your credit report. It also gives you an important confirmation number that you can use when corresponding with Equifax about your report. They also go on to talk about your Experian credit report, and the items that are on your Experian credit report are not all listed on the Equifax or the Transunion report. So you have potentially negative items, your credit items, your accounts in good standing, your request for credit history, your personal information, and also your personal statement. And they give you a sample of what that looks like as well. Let me go on and look at the TransUnion with you here as well. Your TransUnion report contains your personal information, your public records, adverse accounts, satisfactory accounts, regular inquiries, inquiry analysis, promotional inquiries, account review inquiries, your consumer statement, and also special messages. So the whole idea I wanted to get across here in lesson number 1 is that there are so many items on the 3 different reports that can have errors on them. And you need to know what all those items are. You need to understand what they mean, and you need to know how to dispute each of those items. This goes beyond just what's on the collection agency section of your credit report. So I want to go ahead and provide you with this cheat sheet. I did go ahead and leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and get that. It's absolutely free. Just go ahead and click the link and I'll make sure to get that sent out to you. And also remember to subscribe. This is just lesson number 1. I'm going to be covering a number of topics that I think people really need to focus on to improve their credit. And again, I hope this added some value to you and you got a better understanding of what all is contained on your credit report, the fact that there are many items beyond just your collection agency that you need to take a look at. And I hope we can continue this journey of kind of walking through this. Again, I have a passion for this because this guide really helped me to improve my credit. I think that this will be really beneficial to you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. My name is Jaron once again from creditonsteroids.com. And if you have any questions for me, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. And again, this is Jaron. Thank you for letting me share this with you today. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.